Welcome back, everybody. Doug Burson here, CPA. And if you're a business owner or an employee in Missouri, there's a major law you need to know about, the Missouri Proposition A. It just went into effect May 1st, and it brings big changes to both paid sick leave and minimum wage. In this video, I'm going to break down what's changing, who it affects, and what you need to do to stay compliant. Okay, so what is Prop A? Well, in November of 24, Missouri voters voted to pass Missouri Proposition A, and it's a major update to our state labor laws. And there's two major parts that we're worried about. One is a mandatory paid sick leave for employees and a phased minimum wage increase. And so that's why this is important for both individuals and businesses, because it affects you both, although in different ways. So as an employer or an employee, as far as that goes, what does this mean? Well, that means effective May 1st. So by the time this video is out, that means it's now effective and we have to deal with it. All private employers in Missouri are required to provide paid sick leave. Now here's how it works. Basically what you have to do is for every 30 hours a person works, they accrue 1 hour of paid sick leave. Let's do that again. Every 30 hours, they get 1 hour of paid sick leave. If there's 2,080 hours in the year for working, that means a person could potentially accrue up to 69 hours, but it's not quite that simple, so stay with me. See, there's an accrual cap, and it's different between what you would consider small employers and large employers. And what's that threshold? Well, if you have 1 to 14 employees, you're considered a small employer. But if you have 15 or more, you're a large employer. Why does that matter to the business and the employee? Well, it matters because if you're a small employer, the employee can accrue up to 40 hours within a calendar year, or fiscal year if that's the way you're running your books. For most of us, it'll be a calendar year. But if you're a large employer, that means 15 or more employees, then you have to accrue 56 hours. As they earn them, up to 56. So even though we could go up to, I think it was about 69 when I did the math the other day, the maximum that we have to worry about as a small employer is 40, and as a large employer, 56 hours. Now, in addition, we're required to allow the unused hours to roll over. So if you have somebody who earned 40 hours and didn't use any of them, we have to allow them to roll those over to the next year, and the maximum that can be rolled over is 80 hours. So that's the max. It can never get any bigger than that, but we do have to allow 80 hours to roll over. Now, it's important to understand, both as an employee, as an employer, if you are fired or let go or whatever, you're no longer employed, these hours are not required to be paid out. Now, if your company has a policy already in place where they do, that's a different animal. We're totally focused on Prop A here. So if there's no policy that says otherwise in your company, these hours do not get paid when you leave. So if you accrue 80, you don't get paid for that 80. And if you've earned them and you haven't yet used them, you're not going to get paid for those upon exit from the company. As a business owner, you have to comply with this, and there's certain things you have to do. You're going to have to provide notice to your employees of this law. And that can be done, and I'll show you guys here in a minute up on the Missouri's website how to get that. But you're going to have to provide written notice, and you're supposed to do that by April 15th. If you're just watching this video, you probably already missed that, but get it done as soon as possible, and you're probably going to be okay. Or you have to do it within 14 days of hiring a new employee. So you need to make this a part of your package that you give any new employee. W-4, your I-9. We're going to need to have a copy of this in there as well to make sure they're aware of it so that we can stay compliant. As I said, you can download a copy of this notice from the Missouri Department of Labor website right here. And here it is, you can see it. But on top of this, as an employer, you're now required to track the hours and accrue them and track when they are used. And we have to keep those records for at least 3 years. So this just made payroll, especially for smaller employers, more complicated. we can't just ignore this. We actually have to accrue them. Now, what's different about this and some other things that you might not have thought about, this also includes part-time workers. So if you have a part-time worker and they're only using working a few hours a week, you still have to track it, because once they get to 30 hours, they also accrue an hour. So be careful that you don't ignore this. Our payroll systems are gonna have to start tracking these hours, or you're going to have to maintain a spreadsheet or a logbook or something, but we're going to have to track this and maintain those records for 3 years if you're going to stay compliant, and you got to stay compliant. Now, if you're an employer, I would recommend, if you don't have a handbook, this may be the trigger that says, all right, I need to go ahead and get off center and get one, but you need to have this policy documented. If you don't, you can't require your employees to give you notice to use these. But if you do have a policy, you can require that they give notice to use these hours. And also, if someone takes more than 3 consecutive days, you're allowed to ask for documentation. Think a note from a doctor or from a victim service provider. So you're going to want to have policies documented so that you can make sure you're doing all this and staying compliant. Now, another thing that's occurred is, as of January 1st of this year, as we know, minimum wage went up to $13.75. But effective January 26th, it's going to increase again and go up to $15 an hour. So these are things we need to be aware of and that we're ready to plan for as employers. And also as employees, to know that we have a right to this minimum wage number. So these are important things both for the employer and the employee, and these are big changes. Now, this doesn't cover everybody. Who's exempt from this? And this is important, so stay with me here. This is important. If you're a public employer, school district, or educational institution, you're exempt. Well, I'm guessing they already know. You're probably not watching this video, but this next one is really important. If you're a private business that makes under $500,000 in annual gross sales, so under $500,000, you're exempt from this. And this is a big deal that you need to understand. So a lot of small businesses, you're still going to be okay. Now, if you're finding this useful, please go ahead and click the button, subscribe. We're glad to have you, and we're always trying to put out more information that's useful, but let's keep on moving. So I know for a lot of you smaller businesses, that's going to be a sigh of relief. This is going to be a lot of extra work that you probably aren't equipped to handle. So for now, under $500,000, you're okay. But if you're over $500,000, don't ignore this. We do not want to get in trouble with the Department of Labor from Missouri. So we want to get on top of this. We need to get your systems updated. You may need to go to an electronic payroll system if you haven't done that yet. You're going to have a way to keep up with these records, and it's not something we can ignore any longer. Now, I know these rules can be a lot to digest. I want you to know, first of all, I'm here to help. Secondly, you can go right here to the Missouri's website, and you can see they've got FAQs and all these, and it kind of covers a lot of it that'll help your specific situation. So you might want to go ahead and bookmark this FAQ section I'm showing you right here. Use it as a resource to make sure you're up to date on it. And it's also good because sometimes they'll add extra FAQs and you can stay on top of everything. Of course, we'll be watching for it too. But take advantage of that. And like I said, we're here to help. If you don't know how this affects your business, we can see if maybe we need to set up a time to talk it through or to update your payroll system so that you stay compliant. And with that, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.